Welcome to TradersArmy.com, defending your right to build wealth and preserve capital for generations to come.
Yeah, Monday morning. Welcome everybody to the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Hope you guys all had an amazing weekend. We're going to do what we do each and every day on the DMC. We're going to take a look at 10 to 12 futures markets, identifying potential breakouts and reversals from an educational perspective. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So kicking off today, let's start with the S&P. Now, the S&P this morning, we're up, basically we're flat from Friday, up 0.75. Not a whole lot, just about a point. We are building, for a potential breakout to the upside above this 29.14. When we look at this, we're coming close to the all-time high, but we are definitely in an upward trend. So I think that move does look to be a pretty strong opportunity going forward. Looking at this from a bullish perspective, there's possibilities of longs down below if we do get a bit of a pullback. And if we do get a bit of a pullback, the long that you're looking at would be somewhere 28.95, 28.92, kind of in that area and in that range. So going down to here would be, there's a chance that you can get short below, call this 29.07, 29.06. If you want to try to trade the short, I'm not really comfortable doing that at the moment because, well, we're up there, we've got some strength. So if we do break below there, you may get a little run down to this region where you then could see a bit of a reversal. The NASDAQ's actually a better opportunity. The NASDAQ's giving me a better price action picture, and it's giving me that price action picture on the strong move up with higher swing lows and then those same swing highs. Now, these lines on here that I've got are some of the levels that we identified in our live trade room last night. So these are the areas that I would look at. There's also a few more levels in the Russell and in the Dow Jones, which I'm not going to go over this morning, that do also lead themselves for potential reversal trades. So I'm looking at the NQ as my better breakout candidate right now, just based on pure price action alone, knowing that my stop would have to go below the last prior pivot, which right now would be here, if we do break out above there. So there's still a little bit of, it's still not a super tight level. There's still plenty of room for you to allow price to run if we pop up above this 76.65 area here. Looking at crude oil. So in crude oil, we've come back to our potential long, but we did hit our overnight short. So we set this one up last night in the live trading room. So those of you that took the short in the live trade room last night, you should have already hit your target. You should be paid off on your short from last night's live trading room, as we are definitely getting a nice move down off of this level. I think now's time to take some money off the table. At the very least, move your stop down to break even, but take your money off the table, as now we're halfway into this level. So since we're halfway into the level, you can activate your confirmation long. So now take your profits on your short, as that one has moved its movement down to our target. And now if we come back up above 63.45, this would be an opportunity to get long. So I'm going to put an alert in there for now, just because I happen to be at the market right as it's getting to that level, and I'm going to be sitting here at the computer for a little bit longer, so I can just take the trade when it jumps into there. Another way to do that is to do a contingent order, right, which activates the trade if price comes into this level, and then a stop limit order to get long above that zone. All right. Next, gold. So in gold, we still have our short up here above. Unfortunately, that one as a level, we identified this one last night in the live trade room. It did not yet get hit. We know that we identified it on a 15-minute level based on the color of the line. So that one is still very much in play, waiting on price to see if it can make it back to that area. Gold has been a really strong short. We did have some people last night who did get short on the breakout of gold, breaking down below this line here because of this kind of triangle pattern that's formed. I do love to look at those areas and see when those triangle patterns get broken. So if you're short from that triangle pattern, take your stop now and move it down to probably just above this area in here where we've identified a pretty good level of supply. That's a good way to manage and protect that zone. Let's go take a look at bonds and currency markets, although there wasn't a whole lot happening in the bonds and currency markets, so I'm not going to spend too much time on these, remembering that we don't want to force a trade when none is there. So most of the lines on the bonds and currency markets are the same ones that we had on the charts last week. Take a look at this little area here we added in the 10-year note. Off the 15-minute chart, it's a more aggressive area, but we added this area in here way more aggressive because we're basing around it. But I wouldn't take the breakout trade on either one of these because I've got levels on both sides. So room to roam just isn't there. In the Aussie, we had taken a look at this little level here last night, potential reversal. Price came back down into it. Not quite there yet. Set up an alert if price does make it into that zone. And we're looking at here on the 15-minute is this little bit of basing in there. Now, I also like this area down here below. So this one, the basing we're getting in front of the level makes this more of a confirmation trade. So let me switch this to a confirmation long at this point because of the basing happening in front of the level. And then in the euro, we've got a really nice level here that unfortunately just missed re-entry. So we're still hovering kind of above there, and I'll leave that one in play because I think that could still be valid. Canadian dollar, it's doing what it's done here for the last while. On a 4-hour chart, we see that our Canadian dollar is chopping along. Not a whole lot occurring in here. And so that chop does indeed continue, and I'll leave that one in play going forward. Last but certainly not least, Great British Pound, Japanese Yen, although maybe it is least, because the Great British Pound is just doing a whole lot of nothing. There's a whole lot of nothing going on with the pound as it's still between its supply area and its breakdown below this 3069. And then the Japanese yen, we actually rallied back up into this little itty bitty supply area and started to make a little move down. We've come close to it again. Coming close to it again means it now needs to switch to a confirmation short by just coming close to that region. One of them that we looked at last night was Nat Gas on a trade setup. So Nat Gas, we did get our gap and run level as we got just below the opening candle's low, and now we are still chopping along. So remember, your 6-candle rule still in effect. Your stop would be above this one's high. Even though we came above here before entry, still very valid, still very strong setup. So those are the levels that we have for today. Hopefully you're finding some things that starts to make sense. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, click subscribe, hit the alert notification bell, whatever it is you happen to do, so that YouTube knows that you're actually watching and paying attention, and maybe that you like trading and that you care. And if you got any questions, please feel free to email me, support@tradersarmy.com. Until tomorrow, everybody, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon.